Hello children, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn an interesting story, The Aged Mother, written by Macho Basho. This is a Japanese folk tale. It is very interesting and it is a poignant story. That is, it portrays the love and affection of a son and his aged mother. It is given in 10th Standard Samachir Kalvi as supplementary reader in chapter 4. The governor of Shining Country was heartless. So let me give the gist of the story. A poor farmer and his aged mother lived at the foot of the mountain. The ruler of the country passed an order to kill all the aged. So the farmer took his mother to mountain. He was moved by her love and care for him. He carried her down the mountain and hid her in a hut. One day the governor passed an order to present him with a rope of ashes. The farmer made a rope and presented it as the governor expected. The governor understood the wisdom of the old mother because the idea of making a rope of ashes was given by the old mother. He realized his mistake and he abolished the cruel law of killing the aged. Important characters in the story: the poor farmer, farmer's aged mother, governor of Shining, the despotic leader, heralds, people of Shining. The poor farmer, a very loving and affectionate son. Aged mother, she has the wisdom to save her son. Despotic leader, very cruel, but later learned to give importance to the old people. Heralds, officials, who abides by the words of the governor. Then the people of Shining, they also obeys the words of the ruler. Let us learn some important words. Despotic, tyrannical, cruel. Proclamation, announcement. Barbarous, extremely brutal or mercilessly harsh. Abandon, desert, give up completely. Reverence, deep respect. Mandate, an official order. Mandate, an official order. Summit, the topmost point of a hill or mountain. Injunction, an order restraining someone from performing an act. Shriveled, wrinkled or contracted due to old age or due to strain. Gravely, seriously. Let us know about the author. Macho Basho is one of the most famous poets of Japan. He was born in 1644 and died in 1694. In Japan, many of his poems are seen on monuments and traditional sites. Basho was introduced to poetry at a young age. Monuments, historical buildings, traditional sites, ancient places. Basho was introduced to poetry at a young age and he quickly became well known throughout Japan. He made a living as a teacher but traveled throughout the country to gain inspiration for his writings. So look at the picture. He is the author. Now, let us read the story. Long, long ago, there lived at the foot of the mountain a poor farmer and his aged widowed mother. They owned a bit of land which supplied them with food, and they were humble, peaceful, and happy. Just look at the picture. So, here's the farmer, and she's the aged mother. They lived happily and they were peaceful and they were humble. So once a poor farmer lived with his aged widowed mother, so without husband. They owned a bit of land and they were humble, peaceful and happy. The country of Shining was governed by a despotic leader who, though a warrior soldier, had a great and cowardly koletanam, shrinking from anything suggestive of failing health and strength. This caused him to send out a cruel announcement. The entire province, that is his country, was given strict orders to immediately put to death all aged people. Those were barbarous days. Barbarous, very brutal, and the custom of abandoning old people to die was not uncommon. Giving up old people to die was not uncommon. The poor farmer loved his aged mother with tender reverence, and order filled his heart with sorrow. But no one ever thought twice about obeying the mandate of the governor. Mandate, the official order. So with many deep and hopeless sighs. So hopeless sighs, a sound which is let out in sorrow, in grief. The youth prepared for what at the time was considered the kindest mode of death. Yes, look at the picture. Shining was governed by a despotic leader. So he was a despotic leader. What is despotic? Despotic means cruel, tyrannical leader. And who though a warrior, he was a soldier, great soldier. But if anybody suggests of failing health and strength, he takes cowardly decisions. So, as a result of it, he took a decision of killing all aged people. That is, he proclaimed the decree of killing, decree of killing aged people in that place. So that time, killing aged people was not common. When the farmer heard the decree, he felt very sad. Just see the picture. He was very sad. He prepared to escape. That is, he prepared what would be the kindest mode of putting death of his old mother. So he carried his mother on his back and started walking towards the summit of Obetshiama. That is the mountain of abandoning of the aged. So look at the mother and his son. They were very sad. So he has tender reverence, that is a deep respect towards his mother. He felt very sad when he heard the proclamation of killing the aged people. Just at sundown, when his day's work was ended, he took a quantity of unwhitened rice, which was the principal food for the poor, and he cooked, dried it, and tied it in a square cloth, which he swung in a bundle around his neck, along with the gourd filled with cool, sweet water. Yes, look at the picture. Now, when his his day's work was ended, he carried his mother on his back and started walking towards the summit of Batshiyama, the mountain of the abandoning of the aged. So while he was going, he carried unwhitened rice, which was the principal food of the poor. And so he cooked it and he dried it and he tied in a square cloth. So just see, so it is he cooked and he tied in a square cloth, and he took a gourd. Gourd, it is like we have seen bottle gourd. So when the matured bottle gourd can be used for various purposes. So now that gourd acts as a water bottle. That is, he filled that bottle, that gourd, with sweet and cool water. So just see, he swung as a bundle, he swung in a bundle around his neck, along with the gourd filled with cool, sweet water. Then he lifted his helpless old mother to his back and started on his painful journey up the mountain. The road was long and steep. The narrow road was crossed and recrossed by many paths made by the hunters and woodcutters. In some place they lost and confuses, but he gave no heed. One path or other, it mattered not. On he went, climbing blindly upward, ever upwards, towards the high bare summit of what is known as Batshiyama, the mountain of abandoning of the aged. Yes, just see. So he carries his old mother on his back and started walking towards the summit of Batshiyama, the mountain of the abandoning of the aged. The eyes of the old mother were not so dim, but they noted the reckless hastening from one path to another. And her loving heart grew anxious. Her son did not know the mountain's many paths, and his return might be one of the danger, so she stretched forth her hand and snapping the twigs from bushes as they passed. So what is snapping? Snapping means it is breaking the twigs. Snapping means breaking the twigs. And bushes as they passed, she quietly stretched forth her hand, snapping the twigs from bushes as they passed, as they climbed. She quietly dropped a handful every few steps of the way, so that as they climbed, the narrow path behind them was dotted at frequent intervals with the tiny piles of twigs. At last, the summit was reached, weary and heartsick. What is weary? So, weary means very tired. Weary and heartsick, heartsick The youth gently released his burden and silently prepared a place of comfort as his last duty to the loved one. Gathering fallen pine needles, he made a soft cushion and tenderly lifted his old mother onto it. He wrapped her padded coat more closely about the stooping soldiers, and with tearful eyes and an aching heart, he said farewell. His children, so the eyes of the old mother were not so dim, that is, her vision is good, but that they noted the reckless hastening from one path to another. That is, his son, he moved from, he climbed up the mountain in a speed. So his only motto is to reach the summit. So just see the picture. He was carrying his old mother. He was hastening. So he is moving in a speed, hurry. So he was hurrying up the mountain. That is summit, that is top of the mountain. Reckless, he was not giving any heed to the danger. Let any danger come, not at all a problem. Hastening, moving at high speed. So he stretched. What happened means she stretched forth her hand and snapping the twigs from bushes as they passed. She quietly dropped a handful every few steps of the way so that as they climbed, the narrow path behind them was dotted at frequent intervals with tiny piles of twigs. That is, loving mother was very much worried about his son's returning back to home because the paths are not proper. The paths crossed and recrossed in many places. He was very much worried about his son returning back to his home in a safe manner. So she made an idea and she snapped the twigs, that is, from the bushes, snapped. He broke the twigs from the bushes, and after that, after making a handful of it, she quietly dropped in every few steps. So till the summit was reached. Then after that, what the poor farmer, after reaching the summit, the poor farmer felt very tired and heartsick. So he was not strong enough to leave his mother at the summit. He was heartsick, and the youth gently released his burden, that is his mother, and silently prepared a place of comfort as his last duty to the loved one. So the mountain is full of pine trees. So he collected pine leaves. That is, it will be in the form of needles. It will look like needles. So here it is referred as pine needles. He made a soft cushion and tenderly, softly lifted his old mother onto it. He covered her padded coat. That is, what the farmer did means he covered his mother with a coat and more closely about the stooping shoulders. That is, he closed the entire body from the shoulder till the leg. Then, with the tearful eyes and aching heart, he said farewell. That is, goodbye. So this is very, very that is painful situation. He do not want to leave his mother, but because of the rule given by the governor, a situation was created and he wants his mother to be alive. So he left his mother in the summit of the mountain and he said goodbye. So the trembling mother's voice was full of unselfish love as she gave her last injunction. Let not thine eyes be blinded, my son, she said. The mountain road is full of dangers. Look carefully and follow the path which holds the piles of twigs. They will guide you to the familiar path farther down. The son's surprised eyes looked back over the path, then at the poor, old shriveled hands all scratched and soiled by their work of love. His heart broke within and bowing to the ground, he cried aloud, "Oh, honorable mother, your kindness breaks my heart. I will not leave you. Together we will follow the path of twigs and together we will die." So, trembling voice, that is mother's voice, was trembling. Her voice was full of unselfish love. As she gave her last order, let not thine eyes be blinded. That is, thine means your. Your eyes should not be blinded. That is, it should not cause someone to be unable to see permanently. So, it should not be unable to see. And the mountain road is full of dangers. Yes, she noticed while climbing up. You have to look carefully and you have to follow the path which holds the piles of twigs. So, piles of twigs, as I told you, she dropped in every step a handful of twigs. So, which acts as a marker. The sun, so definitely it will guide you to the familiar path further down. The son's surprised eyes looked back over the path. He looked at the path. He noticed piles of twigs. Then at the poor old shriveled hands all scratched and soiled by their work of love. That is, her hand was scratched. That is, many marks are there on her hand because of her hard work. His heart broke within and bowing to the ground, he bent his head and body forward. So he cried, and then he cried loudly, "Oh, respected mother, your kindness breaks my heart." So definitely your kindness breaks your love breaks my heart. I will not leave you. So let us go together and follow the paths of the twigs. Just see the old mother. So again he is carrying his mother on his back and returning to the hut. Once more he shouldered his burden. How light it seemed now, and hastened down the path through the shadows and the moonlight to the little hut in the valley. Beneath the kitchen floor was a walled closet for food which was covered and hidden from view. There the son hid his mother supplying her with everything she needed, continually watching and fearing she would be discovered. Time passed and he was beginning to feel safe when again the governor sent forth heralds bearing an unreasonable order, seemingly as a boost of his power. His demand was that his subjects should present him with a rope of ashes. Yes. So again, what did the farmer do? Farmer carried his aged mother on his back and he returned back to his hut and he hid his mother in a closet, so which is hidden from the view, and it is beneath the kitchen floor. So the closet is used for storing the food items. So there he hid his old mother and time passed. He was fearful whether his act will be discovered. Then time passed and he was beginning to feel safe when again the feel unsafe. When again the governor gave another order. The entire province trembled with dread, fear. The order must be obeyed, and yet who in all shining could make a rope of ashes? One night in great distress, the son whispered in low voice the news to his hidden mother. Wait, she said, I will think. On the second day, she told him what to do. Make rope of twisted straw, she said. Then stretch it upon a row of flat stones and burn it on a windless night. He called the people together and did as she said, and when the blaze died down, there upon the stones, with every twist and fiber showing perfectly, lay a rope of ashes. So, what was the order? What was the decree given by the governor? As the time passed, the governor sent forth another unreasonable order that his subjects means the people, should present him a rope of ashes. Yes, he was the governor. He gave another order of making a rope of ashes. So look at the farmer, he was confused and distressed. Distressed means at great pain. When he whispered to his mother gave him a clever idea. What idea did she give? He must make a rope of twisted straw. He has to twist the straw. So what is straw? Dried stacks of grains, dried stacky plant residue. So that is the straw. So he has to twist it. Like rope, know how we have. So like that we have to twist it and then stretch it upon a row of flat stones. It should be kept under the flat stones and it should be burnt on a windless night. So there should not be any wind. So in the windless night it should be burnt. So she gave this clever idea. So what did the farmer do? He made it as his mother said. So he burnt it before the governor, and when the blaze died down, they could see a rope of ashes. They could see the rope of ashes. Just see. So people gathered and he made a rope of twisted straw and then he stretched it upon a row of flat stones and burnt it on a windless night. So when the blaze died down, they could see a rope of ashes. Yes, he is doing. The governor was pleased at the wit of the youth and praised greatly. So, what did the governor do? He praised him, that is, wit, intelligence of the farmer, and wanted to know how and where he got this idea. He demanded to know where he had obtained his wisdom. Wisdom means அறிவு. So, இந்த அறிவை எங்கிருந்து கிடைச்சது? Alas, alas, cried the farmer. The truth must be told. So, definitely I have to reveal the truth. He related his story, and with deep bows, he related his story. That is, he bent forward and he narrated the story. He told the story. The governor listened and then meditated in silence. So he kept quiet for some time, and finally he lifted his head. Shining needs more than strength of youth. So something more than the strength of youth. So he said gravely, very seriously, that I should have forgotten the well-known saying, with the crown of snow there cometh wisdom. Crown of snow means all old people will have what hair? Grey hair, silver hair, isn't it? So from there, definitely what comes? The wisdom. So when hair turns white, when the individual grows older, the more he or she acquires knowledge from his or her experience. That is the meaning of the statement. That every hour the cruel law was abolished. So it was banned, and custom drifted into as far as past that only legends remained. So only the legends remained. That is, people of wisdom, that is the aged people, gave many such ideas, and his country flourished. So old is gold, isn't it, children? So this the great treasure of our country is old people. We have to love them and respect the aged people. They are the real treasure of our country. So old is gold. That is the moral of the story. I have given the essay, that is the aged mother. Just see, it carries 8 marks. Supplementary reader, the aged mother, author, macho basho, characters, poor farmer, farmer's aged mother, governor of shining, the despotic leader, heralds, people of shining, theme, proclamation of abandoning of mother, unbounded love of mother, and wisdom of old winds. So hints are given. By reading these hints, you can write an essay. So just see synopsis. So introduction about the author, poor farmer and the aged mother, shining's despotic leader, proclamation, painful journey up the mountain, mother's care and concern, bidding farewell and his change of mind, withdrawal of cruel decree, and conclusion. Just see how I have written. So please note down this. Pause the video and note down this. Please take down. Pause the video and take down. Pause the video and take down. Pause the video and take down. Yes, children, we have come towards the end. I have concluded. Everyone should love and respect the aged people. They are the treasure of a country. So here, rearrange the sentences given below in the correct sequence. So in the supplementary, a question will be asked. A set of sentences will be given and you are asked to rearrange it in a correct order. So here the son made up his mind to take back his mother home. A farmer decided to leave his old mother on top of a mountain. The governor realized his mistake and abolished the law. Once in shining, a cruel ruler declared that all old people must be put to death. Using the clever idea of his mother, the farmer made a rope of ashes. When the farmer bade farewell, she advised him to return home with the aid of twigs. Filled with dread, he hid his mother in his home. The mother dropped the small twigs as markers on the way to help her son return. So just rearrange it, children. And after rearranging, please check the answer. I have given the answer also. Please check it. 8 points are given. Rearrange it. After rearranging, please check it. Answer: once in shining, a cruel ruler declared that all old people must be put to death. A farmer decided to leave his old mother on top of a mountain. The mother dropped the small twigs as markers on the way to help her son return. When the farmer bade farewell, she advised him to return home with the aid of twigs. The son made up his mind to take back his mother home. Filled with dread, he hid his mother in his home. Using the clever idea of his mother, the farmer made a rope of ashes. The governor realized his mistake and abolished the law. So children, only our mother does everything without expectation. Please love and respect your mother and make use of her wisdom. Thank you for watching.